Hey there, and welcome back if you've been with us before. If you haven't, welcome. In this video, we're going to be looking at how to create an HDR stacked photo, which means that we're going to make a high dynamic range photo. And how we do that is we take um, multiple photos of various exposures. You want at least one to be underexposed, at least one to be as close to perfectly exposed as possible, and then one to be overexposed. And you can have a range of other photos in between to get you that perfectly composed and exposed photo as the final result. So what you see on the screen is my results from taking, I believe it was 4 different photos, underexposed, overexposed, and 2 in the middle. Uh, put them together and I've instead of having the sky totally blown out to have the foreground exposed properly, or instead of having the sky exposed properly and having the foreground or my subject underexposed, it created a nice, perfectly exposed, after a little bit of editing, photo. So let's go ahead and jump into Photoshop and get started. Well, we're already in Photoshop. Sorry, let's just get started. Okay, so I'm going to go up to File and Automate and merge to HDR Pro. You do not have to have the files open to start with. However, you can do that. Here's my next dialog box. It opened on my other screen over there. So if you already had the images that you want to combine open, you would just click on Add Open Files. Or if you had only one of your files that you want to combine open and wanted to do more, then you would do Browse and select the files that you didn't have open, and then click Add Open Files and add that file, put them all together, bing, bang, boom. But since I don't have any of the photos open yet, I'm going to click on Browse, click on my 4 photos, and I'm doing this by holding either Command on a Mac or Control on a PC and clicking on each photo, and then Open. Okay, so here's my 4 photos that I'm going to use, and I have the box to attempt to automatically align source images checked. What this means is that Photoshop is going to automatically try to align all of your 4 photos together. So if you weren't using a tripod and you maybe moved just a little bit over to the right or left or up or down, whichever, you're gonna have well, obviously you weren't in the same spot, so things aren't gonna line up. Photoshop is gonna automatically attempt to fix that for you. So I'm gonna click OK, and Photoshop is gonna do its thing. You can watch over here in the layers panel. All of the photos are gonna be opening. Photoshop is thinking. More thinking. Okay, and it's popped up on another screen. I don't know why it's not popping up on the screen. Okay, so here's your next dialog box. And first I'm going to say remove ghosts. And then this is just Photoshop attempts to remove ghosts, as they call them, that were created by moving objects in your photos. So if I had a person in my background that was moving between my 4 photos, Photoshop is going to remove three of the 4 individuals. And then down here, I have 32-bit selected because that's what I used previously, but 32-bit, 16-bit, and 8-bit are your options. 32-bit is going to give you a larger file size. However, it's also going to give you more dynamic range, if you will. It's going to give you more to work with within each pixel. You're going to have more color and more editability, if you will. 16-bit is the middle of the road and 8-bit is smallest, so you're going to have the least amount of the information within your photo to work with for editing. So I'm going to choose 32-bit, complete toning in Adobe Camera Raw, which just means that when I click Tone in ACR, which is Adobe Camera Raw, it's going to take me to Adobe Camera Raw in just a second. Thinking, thinking. Here we go. Adobe Camera Raw. Now I can start editing. So this is my final image, and yes, everything looks underexposed. That's okay. I wasn't expecting a perfectly exposed photo. I was expecting to edit just a little bit. So that's basically how you do HDR photo stacking in Photoshop. So I will do a part 2 of this video so you can see the editing process to get the final results. So join me if you want for that. If not, go ahead and start photo stacking away.